Right, hey, welcome, Kloo. So, we're trying out a different max list today, right? So it's a little bit bigger than the deck that I've been running, so what it should hopefully mean is we fatigue ourselves, less is quick, right? And also, our damage output should be slightly higher, which is definitely needed against a Levia match, right? Because they are super tanky. But, like usual, we'll take the entire sideboard just so that we don't fatigue. But yeah, fingers crossed. The only trouble that this deck seems to have, for me, personally, is just the setup can be very, very rough, right? Even this starting hand, for instance, where I just want to end up maxing, right? Means I can't really play the clamp press. I could go all in on the clamp press, I suppose, and still Arsenal card. I mean, that itself is kind of a valid play, but yeah, kickstarting the one cost, or in this case, hopefully a two cost, through rev up, we definitely need to hit the hyperdrivers. So just being able to push max seems to be the big what, right, that we want to do. So I feel like it's just play the bias, because if we hit something, we hit something. And then just zip a hit, clamp press, and save the rev up, right? And again, the rev up will kind of be a bit troublesome if we don't hit anything. But that's fine. It's on 8, so I'd assume they just fully block it out, right? It's opening turn anyway. So the main goal is hopefully just to get to an Arsenal card and be able to just click max and get that 2-charge hyperdriver, right, at the start. That's a win for me first turn, regardless of however much damage we actually get across. Now we got another hyperdriver, so that essentially lowers our max button, right? So Banksy plus max with the hyperdriver in hand, it's only 2 costs, since we can crank this one. Right, we can also balance resources into the revs up, which is looking like it's going to be the case, although we do have gas up as a pitchable. So for instance, we have a 2, a 2, and a 0. If this isn't disrupting us in any way, it's just going to be a straight damage back and forth, right, between us and the Levia. But yeah, we do have to do the math. So 2 resources, so 2, 4, 6 is what we're trying to get to. We have 1 on board, 2 on here, so that's 3, and that's only 4. So we can get 1 more resource out of this, but we're still 1 short of the rev up, and that's the difficulty when it comes to this version of the max. Unfortunately, sometimes they just don't line up as well as the 0 cost turns that I very happily push, right, in the other variant of the deck that I've been trying out, but we'll see what we can make do. The better scenario, I guess, would be to pitch the other yellow. Does that get us to max, at the very least? We were 1 resource short, so it should, right? Because that gets us 2 resources, right? But then we need 1 more resource because we're at the max. So was it 3, but we lose the hyperdrive for the next turn, which is definitely a problem. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and we're doing 2, 4, 5. Yeah, so as long as I get the resource off this, we can still Banksy. Question is, do I need to Banksy? I do, kinda. So we'll Founding Heart first anyway. I'll get us to our 2 resources for a rev up. That's unfortunate. And we're not stashing anything either. I kind of want the hyperdrive to stick around to hopefully smooth out our next turn. So it should be the rev up, boost it. There's still a chance we hit a hyperdriver, although we don't actually want to now since I'm not looking to swing with Banksy. Right, I'd rather the guaranteed 2. So yeah, a 6 into a 6 is still definitely nice, right? And then just leaving with a 2-1 hyperdriver, so we have 2 resources for the following turn, will be nice. That is a bit damning, but it doesn't completely debilitate us, and they're still taking the damage, which is good enough for me. So we will get the hyperdriver back, which is nice, right? Because then we still have a card to Arsenal, so I think in that scenario, the rev up is actually still better than trying to set up another one. Because we do have the breakout, so I suppose holding on to the hyperdriver was actually the worst case. We'd use the gas up to pay for max, and then we'd use the breakdown to probably cycle the hyperdriver the following turn. Still, we're pushing damage, which is what we want, because this is just going to be a slug back and forth, basically. So as long as we can pick apart their hand, I'm definitely happy. Because we're still definitely in, setup stage. Pass, close, and say goodbye, so we don't have to worry about the scaling flashback in the future. Still asking for twice? It is still asking for twice. Alright, Arsenal the hyperdriver. Yeah. Alright, so just setting up. Alright, so yeah, we can't hyper scrapper, so that's a pitchable. Crankshafts, again, them being 2 costs is a letdown to me, right? Our turn is still quite costly, but I think it's basically just, as per usual, play everything. And at least we can set up 2 hyperdrivers since we have a nice 6 to pitch away, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, right? So plus the 2 here, and we're golden, so I don't want to hyperdriver first. We go, I guess, the throttle? No, we'll start with a 4. So we go crankshaft, 4, boost. Hopefully we hit some hyperdrivers and we can buff up our fist bump. But since there's no scaling, it is just our full swing turn. Then it's Teklo first, because I want the extra resources. Right, there's no reason not to break the chain. There's nothing that they can double block with. Right, well, that they used. Then it's throttle, boost. Did I miscount resources? 1, 2. We have 4. 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. No, I haven't miscounted resources. And then hopefully we're set up for a nice big turn to follow. So crank, max, pitch, crank. Potentially, it might have been a case to heavy industry and not have to crank the second hype driver. So we'd have a 2-1 going into the next turn. But I think this is fine. Now we just have to survive their onslaught. I'd rather the crankshaft come around first if we get to that point. But we do have the resource basis, yes, for our maximum. So that's nice as well. Maxx V is definitely something I find tricky to land, right? Does definitely put us on the back pedal, unfortunately, because we'll lose our hype drivers, we won't be able to set up again. But in terms of just our swinging back and forth, this is definitely working out, right? Boost that. It would be nicer if Zipper Hit was another 0, I suppose. So we don't have to mill ourselves, or the one resource could go into a hyperdriver, then still use the hyperdriver to float the resource. Would that have got us to our Banksy? I don't know if it would have. They take our bluff. That's the question. Either way, we're just coming with a nice, what is it, 6, 10? We're going with a 20 turn, right? So again, that average damage for this deck list is definitely higher than the one I've been running. And for the most part, has actually been kind of faring decently. Sprocket Rocket next. Is there a rationale to the Zip Hit first? No. So we can't really predict what we hit. And then Zipper hits, since it does have temper anyway. So they want for the Maxx V, I suppose. Boundary and Maxx V. So it definitely puts them in KO range if they can't do 19 back to us. I feel like they were meant to block with the Carrion Husk, weren't they? They're not undoing. If they want to undo, I'd be completely fine with that. But, see, Pulse Wave Harpoon now falls short. Still haven't hit many Hype Drives for the Hyper Scrapper. Maybe Hyper Scrapper needs to be reduced in copies. I still like it as a blue. I mean, our turn is now rough, right? We do have to rely on Banksy, and I probably want to stash the Pulse Wave Harpoon. So it would be 1, 2, Foundry Heart Banksy. Yeah, I mean, it still pushes enough damage against them. I should probably start blocking. I'm going to lose the helm anyway, but we haven't seen any of their scary pieces. So I'm just going to block damage so we can take the rest. Obviously, something worse can definitely come out. I don't know the Levia cards well enough to rationalize what I have to block against that has a substantial effect to it. Banish just gains Dominate. Yeah, that's fine. Let's just block with the 1, take the 5, and then hopefully we're staying ahead in terms of damage. Just a 6. Right, because they have no go again. And we're definitely not attacking the Blasphemate. Alright, so it's just a Zipper Hit. It's just a Zipper Hit. Back Levia. Pitch that. Boost. Now would be the perfect time to hit. Well, there you go. I got punished for not putting the Clamp Press in first. I guess boosting. I should always do the items first. And that. Crank it. And swing at Levia. It is scary that they can still just throw out the 6, though, even if they, throw out their hand. So hopefully we still have enough to block and deal with them next turn. Because that is obviously their go. I'm just going to probably let the 6 through anyway. Go down to 1. And as long as things line up, we can pick apart their hand again. I don't know if we have over-the-top damage. Because again, we're a little bit short on the resources. So what can we do? There's nothing to block. Our turn is 0 to 60, Pulse Wave, which is 3 cards, 2 resources, and then I can still Banksy on top of that. So yeah, that should be fine. Should hopefully scrape by. 0. Back Levia. I don't think the first Pulse Wave will yoink anything though. But they are 4s, so yeah, should mean they double block. Oh, they only had 3. Beautiful. Well, there we go. The deck worked. And that was actually kind of quick. I might find another one. Our start is interesting because we have Master Cog. So I can get the Steam counter on the Hyper Drive and still swing. But so rough having these to start. Like, obviously, I can't max first. So I guess we're not getting the Steam counter. In which case, it's probably try and save the throttle or the BIOS update. So 2. That's not horrible, right? I guess I'll do and save the BIOS update for our following turn. Once this deck gets off the ground, then we're super happy. That's not a great start, though. I don't need to crank. And I definitely want Jumpstart back first. Arsenal the BIOS. So, I only count 2. Same. We can't even cycle something with Breaker Helm. So it's probably block out if they have some form of Arsenal Disruption. And then just try and again continue setting up the hyperdrivers so that we can snowball. So arsenaling Maxx V. So it's a 0. Probably the Jumpstart first so I can crank this one, and then Hyper Scrapper. Although that does end up getting rid of, unfortunately, the Hyperdriver. Just a big 10. So I guess, well, Pummel. But I'd rather discard than block, I suppose. It's not a Pummel. Interesting. We hit something off the bonus update, we're super happy. So I'm going to Jumpstart first. I can decide whether or not I want to crank for the Fast and Furious one. Boost. No, not a lucky day. I think I just have to upkeep the Hyperdriver so I'm not getting Fast and Furious to a 4. Oh! That does still work, right? If you crank this turn, yeah. Because it's before it's resolved, before it's science check. Fingers crossed. Yes, but it doesn't take the boost. Interesting. Which makes sense, right? Because the boost is as you declare it. And then we go Nitro, and we crank, and we swing. And then a 4. And it looks like we do have the upper hand so far. Match up despite being, the significant loss of life. And the Steam counter goes on a token 1 because we want the others to enter our graveyard. Alright, and hopefully we draw for our Maxx V. We have plenty of resources now to actually make it land. Ooh, 2 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We can get to 4 easy enough. Actually kind of rough. So either way, it's 0 to 60 first. Boost. 3 resources. Pass. So we go up to 4 resources, which isn't enough for the Maxx V. So it's pitching 1 away. So it's 1, 2, and then Teklo at the end. Boost. Again, all the goodies. Oops, that was a mistake. I meant to Foundry Heart first while I have the resources. Well, actually, no, I suppose because I'm pitching the Maxx V, I could have as well. But it didn't really matter. It's also not as disruptive to the equipment. I like taking the red and yellow T-bones in my other variant of the deck. And then it's Maxx, off the Maxx, and no crank. So we have our 2 Hyperdrivers. Don't really need to claw this back, right? Yeah, because them getting to send the damage through is not nice. I'm going to whittle it down quite a lot. And again, the Maxx V here is just dead. I would rather the blue since we're trying to set up the clamp press. Double clamp press. I can heavy industry so I don't have to crank them both, but it probably gets defended against. So 2 resources there, 3 resources there. So that's everything taken care of except for the 1 for the zipper hits. Teklo Foundry Heart. Bounces that back, so that's fine. So I can do the whole turn. Beautiful. Pitch that. Get our 2 clamp presses out. Then we Foundry Hearts. Gear Shift. A lot of cards gone though. Crank the first one. And then don't crank the second one. And then swing for a 7, and this should be blocked out. Otherwise, I'll very much enjoy it if they give us the counter. Yeah, but we definitely haven't clawed back enough, and the Maxx V is just seriously gunking us up. God, do I get rid of the Hyperdriver? I do, because I have another blue. Need a big, big swing turn. We're actually getting the damage across. I mean, they haven't dealt damage yet, so the even bigger than that should be after the resolution. So maybe they're playing it at the wrong step. Yeah, it would have been they were playing it at the wrong step. What can we possibly do on our turn? No way to get to 3. And play the gas up, so at least that's a buff. 1, 2, 3, 4. Get resource back, we have 3. But I really want to swing. So we're still short. So it can't be the crankshaft. So it's definitely gas up. I need the resource. Plus this counts as the crank, which is nice. Grab the red. Crank it. And we do outpace. We boost it. Get to 3 resources. But we're still only at 4, which is not enough. Unless I max first, since I don't have to crank it. Right, that gets me to enough resources. I believe that gets me to enough resources. So, max goes to 2. We Foundry Heart to go back to 2, we get 1. Yeah. Max, don't crank. Foundry Heart. Crankshaft. Boost. Beautiful. I should probably keep them both around. So we're fine with Hyper Scrapper. We already have 3 in the graveyard, so I'll keep them both around. And then just Banksy. And how much block do they have for Banksy? 1, 2, 3 if need be. We can still block it out comfortably with only a few cards. Really would have been great to get the Maxx V off. As long as we can keep both clamp presses around, we are kind of really happy. Definitely on that one. So 1 more turn of a 7. There's a Hyper Scrapper, so our turn is smooth, but again, just not 3 for Maxx V. We really need the Twin Drive. And maybe the Twin Drive is worth it in this variant of the deck. We have Sprocket Rocket into Hyper Scrapper, off of Teklo Foundry Heart into everything else. It's still sizable. It's just... Oh! Sledge is not once per turn. I never realized that. That's cool. Not good for us, but cool. Definitely interesting use. Is that why Jarl likes it? Although I don't think Jarl really has any go-agains. That's a very interesting use with the even bigger than that. Alright, Sprocket Rockets. Boost. Get 2 resources. So Kloo gets us to the 3 for Hyper Scrapper. We hit 3 Hyperdrivers. 1, 2, and 3. Beautiful. We get now 6 resources. And it would have been just fantastic if this wasn't a Hyperdriver, right? 5 into a 5 into a 10 into a Max into a swing. Oh well, we are... 11 is a bit too risky for me. Let's say we're in KO territory. Crankshaft's nice. Pass. No Arsenal Disruption so far. But at least we have our stockpile of Hyperdrivers. And a nice 7 Banksy, hopefully prolonged 1 Clamp Press. I can see them blocking this one out. Yeah. Maintaining the Pitchball for Sledge. No, Sledge is 4. Is Tunic up? Move. I think Tunic was up. Yeah. Bye-bye both Clamp Presses. Hopefully we get the 3 boosts for Maxx V at this point. Right, our board's all set up for us. 1, 2, 3, easy. Oh, huge amount of resources for it, though. But should be enough to actually empty their hand. Which makes me really, really happy. So, definitely Expedite first. I want to keep all 3 around at this point of the game. I gotta remember, there's no soup-ups in this, so maintaining them is the priority over having one to destroy each turn. The 3 resources gets us... what? 1, 2, 3, 4. Can I get to the wrench swing as well? I think I can get to the wrench swing as well. We can count that again. 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Right? We have 6. And I can get 1 off the max, so no, it's not quite enough. I think it's obviously just push the most damage, though. That's the definite. Right? So, Thunderjaw gets us to 4, which means we're still 0. Which means I should probably just max it for the sake of maxing it. Doesn't really do anything for me. So, no. I just don't Foundry Hunt, I guess. I just clear my hand. And granted, they don't really have to block. We want them not to block this. That way we get them to 10 and they have to block the Maxx V. Like to win a clash, but I'm guessing the lowest they run is a 6. Plus then, you know, Victor's ability. Back to 2, doesn't matter. No, it doesn't matter. There's no way I can get... Alright, I need to... Doing the math with Kloo and Max, right? Getting the 1 resource from this Hyper Driver always does my head in. So if we Foundry, we max, right? We get a Hyper Driver. We then zip a hit off of the 0 to 60, and then we Maxx V. We've done the same thing, lost more cards, basically, right? I still don't get to Arsenal card, yeah. So no. Just boost into the Maxx V. Pass. And then Maxx V. Right, and then we have to block with 1 card, which at least takes Sledge off the table, and means that we can try and close out the game on the following turn. Pass. Right, just draw good. Draw good. I don't think we drew good. I forgot they had gold too. Yeah. Damn it, I really forgot we had made gold. That's really nice, the Sledge with the gold. Well, we have to give 3 cards, which means we're basically dead anyway. Because the turn after this does nothing. Dash the gas up. We kept a 0, not that we had one, right? I would have had to have kept 2 cards. But if we could have had a 0, then we could have obviously still maxed and Bankseed, which would have pressured. Wouldn't have been enough to force them to block, but would have been something. Alright, we'll take the KO. It's just, this variant definitely gets shut down a lot easier than the other one, but yeah, again, the amount of damage you're throwing out is a lot crazier. It should be in this one, right? The 17, 20, 24, once you get the ball rolling, rather than just, you know, a more consistent string of 15s that I find in the other version of the deck. But it's interesting nonetheless. And, you know, I like having two different varieties to play. Hope you enjoyed. See ya.